All right, we're back and day 4. So thanks for sticking with it. Um, Also thank me for sticking with it. I'm not a day 4 kind of person, so um, this is pretty good. So we're just gonna rock through these real quick because it's gonna be kind of all over the place today. Um, we changed the name for um, posterity reasons, and also because something happened that I was very surprised by. um, Even though the purpose of this was to kind of leave like a time capsule of advice and um, maybe like a quasi instruction manual for the boys later. Um, it actually turned out to be a thing where the little guy wants to watch it now. Just earlier today, he said, "I'm gonna go watch one of your episodes." So I'm surprised by the speed of his interest, but it also makes it much more pressing and urgent that I give them my best, because they're watching now, not in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. And while I do that in person, I give them my best every day. I want to give them my best in digital format too. So here's to you boys, and thank you for always making me a better version of myself, like constantly. This showed up on my feed the other day. It says that Iran abolishes morality police after months of protests. And call me a cynic, but I wonder how much of it is abolishing and how much of it is just hiding it. So instead of there being a morality police, now there's going to be a second, third, I don't know how many layers of secret police may already exist, but just sounds like there's going to be one more, which is it always makes me sad when our side cries victory, cries or pats themselves on the back because they accomplished something without understanding really just how nefarious people are and how unlikely they are to have actually created real change, and how likely it is that they're just being appeased so that they can shut the fuck up and go away. So we'll continue to keep an eye on what's going on in Iran, but take everything you hear coming out of there with a grain of salt. And hopefully I can have an expert in the Middle East, and very specifically in Iranian politics, on with me soon. There's a very talented, brilliant professor that I know whose focus and specialty is Middle Eastern conflict and Iran in particular. So stay tuned. The other day there was a headline. I didn't even bother reading the article, but there was a headline by The Economist that said, "If Ticketmaster is a greedy capitalist, so is Taylor Swift." And listen, I couldn't pick out a Taylor Swift song out of a lineup. Like, I have never gone out of my way to find her music. Nothing against it, but it's just not like I'm sure I've heard it, but it's nothing that I've ever been interested in seeking out. So I'm by no means defending Taylor Swift or apologizing for Taylor Swift, because I think that she herself is a capitalist, of course, and she's interested in making as much money as humanly possible from her tour, which, by the way, she should, because she's the fucking artist. But the fucking Economist, like, you know that meme with the guy fucking with his arms out and like bullets and daggers and shit are flying at him and he's protecting some innocent person? The Economist doing that for Ticketmaster is really fucking rich. And taking bullets from Monopoly is we wouldn't expect anything less from the Economist, but it was pretty funny to see them lash out at the artist for wanting to maximize their profits and monetize to its full potential extent the fucking work, that the body of work that they've been working on for 20 years or however long Taylor's career has been. And fuck you, The Economist. Let her make as much fucking money as she wants, and let's disband this fucking monopoly. Is that really gonna fix much? So I was in the industry for a long time, fucking 12 years. Very little can actually possibly change in ticketing. It's a really screwy business. It's a screwy business model. Ticketmaster will tell you that they give 100% of the ticket price to the artists, and that's why ticket fees are so high. Like they're like at 60% now when you add everything in. Like I can't take the kids to a show for less than $160 a piece. And $60 is fucking fees. So there's no quick answer, and I saw a graph, and I'll try to find it for another time, but there's a graph out there of how much money they actually make and their expenses. And it's kind of the problem of running a giant fucking monopoly, like the Walmart of ticket sales, right? Like they're the only game in town, and it's going to be expensive. It's going to be really fucking expensive to keep that enterprise afloat. So the only real way to actually make anything happen and change is independent ticket sellers. So we're not going to get anywhere near close to that anytime soon. But it's the only viable answer to this behemoth that is just getting hungry and hungrier every year. Saw this other tweet that said House Republicans have decided to only work 108 days next year's legislative session. These assholes who represent us, by the way, these assholes just voted no. And I talked about it, I think, episode 2, but they denied rail workers seven paid time off days. And they are deciding to take 250 some odd days off themselves. Yeah, again, it's really unfortunate because we're not going to solve the world's problems here in this fucking micro YouTube channel, but 7 fucking days. They can't do that for very hardworking people whose jobs prop up the economy. They couldn't let them go on strike, by the way, because it would tank the economy. So they're so vital, they're so crucial, they're so absolutely necessary that the government stepped in to prevent a strike. But they're not worth giving 7 days of paid time off to. But they're taking 200 and something fucking days off. time to expel these fucking goblins, ghouls. What's the Oxford word of the day or word of the year? It's goblin mode. I think that's what Mitch McConnell and the fucking entire Republican caucus runs on. Little bit of fraud news. Caroline, who was SBF, I forget his fucking initials, but anyways, the guy from the crypto fund that has gone bankrupt and lost billions of people's dollars. He's in fucking the Caribbean, walking around like nothing happened, and she's in New York City, buying coffee, like it says here, like nothing happened. Where the fuck is the accountability? You know, like where people get busted for stealing cigarettes or candy or fucking. I remember I was at the grocery store one day. This lady walked in and she just started putting produce, like grapes and oranges and like carrots in her bag. And within seconds, the fucking store manager pounced on her and snatched this bag out of her hands and kicked her out, yelling at her obscenities and threatening to call the police, telling her to not steal from her store for what was probably like $6 worth of produce. And these assholes are stealing billions and billions of dollars. Doesn't matter. They're still fucking walking around, getting coffee and getting interviewed by, the fucking business rags. So, yeah, it's unfortunate because life sometimes is not as fair as we would want it to be, and justice isn't as swift as we would hope it would come. But the only thing I can encourage you boys to do is to be good, moral people of virtue, so that you never have some asshole on the internet making fun of you and questioning your values, your ethics. So, a little bit on the kind of the topic at hand, yesterday's vlog. This meme came up and I thought it was interesting because of in the context of what I had said yesterday. It says they call it wokeness because calling it basic empathy reveals that they're the ones in the wrong. I like to think of myself as like a reformed wokist. I used to wave that flag very proudly, and it meant something to me. It was like, oh yeah, like I am somebody who cares about things that should be cared about. I care about the plight of others. I care about injustice. I care about basic human decency. And I am motivated to live my life and behave in a way that is in line with those values. And then it turned into something really ugly. And that is the thing that I was alluding to yesterday, which is you can't say anything wrong. You can't differ from the herd. You can't think any differently. You can't opine in a manner that is not pre-approved and rubber stamped by the regional manager of your local woke branch. And it became really sad because you were suddenly not allowed to have a differing opinion. And it doesn't even matter what your lived experience is. It's gospel, right? And you can't deviate from the gospel. You can't deviate from the scripture. So, I kind of feel like a person on an island, right? Because I don't want to be associated with these assholes who don't care about people, who don't care about other people. I don't want any part of Mitch McConnell's Republican Party. And I don't want any part of Elon Musk's Twitter. And I don't want any part of Donald Trump's America. But I also don't want to be associated with AOC or some super hardcore social justice warrior, these assholes who throw paint and soup on paintings in museums. These are not my people. And it's a really weird place to kind of be in, because we've been trained to be in camps. So I find this argument really reductive of, it's either wokeness or it's not caring about basic empathy. It's really reductive and it's really tribal. And it breeds these really fucky borders or teams or tribes that we have to be a part of. Because you're telling me, and you've told me now, that if I'm not 100% with you, I am against you. And that is just such bullshit. That is such bullshit. I can be with you and disagree with your methods, disagree with your language, disagree with your approach, and still believe in the mission, in the goal, in the fight. But sadly, our side has decided that that's not good enough, that I'm not allowed to do that. So it's really difficult to even say this much. I wouldn't say scary quite yet. Maybe I'll get to scary eventually, but it's sad for sure. And it's difficult, definitely. Because I don't feel like I can speak my mind and make mistakes without being vilified as or categorized as something that I'm not. So the only thing I can encourage you boys is to always be true to yourselves. Again, I expect you, and I know that you are good, moral people of sound judgment, and I expect you to do the right thing. I know that you'll do the right thing. You do the right thing with me. You keep me honest. You are such good examples to me. So I expect that to always be the case in your lives, because you're just really great fucking people. So don't be swayed by the crowd. Don't be bullied by the mob. Continue to think for yourselves. Continue to trust your hearts and move in what move in what you know to be your true north. Because it's the only thing you can trust. It's the only thing that won't abandon you. It's the only thing that won't betray you when you decide that you're not interested in following along anymore or staying in line. I want to highlight artists from time to time in this thing. So sorry for my awkward segues, but we're moving on. I want to highlight artists on this thing from time to time, and this artist's handle is at Rene Garza. Rene Garza. I don't know why I just said it like that. Rene Garza. RENEGARZA __. They make amazing art. I'm not a fan of collage. I never have been. Like, it's never been my thing. But this artist makes incredible collage. That is just, they have so many so many fun pieces, and I would encourage you to go check them out, give them a follow, and embrace their art. And if they have stuff for sale, fucking buy it. Support local artists. We're going to get very quickly here into a lot of football, so please bear with me. Another artist I want to turn you on to, though, is at J.A.K._. This is a cartoonist, and again, just such good material, content, art, creation, commentary. If you are into cartoons, go ahead and check them out. Our boy Boss Logic, always with the incredible content too, so, and art. I don't like calling it content when it's art, but it's art and content, so go check it out. Boss Logic, who you should all be familiar with, does really wonderful work for Marvel and himself, DC, all the big studios, all the big movies, and makes a lot of cool stuff on his own too, just for himself. I'll leave you on this, on the kind of political conversation. I said to a colleague once, said, I'm a pretty chill guy. And they laughed at me. They laughed in my face. And they're like, you're not chill at all. You're really fucking intense. And that was the first time I think I ever had to kind of confront that about myself. And I laughed, and I'm still laughing about it. Because I couldn't disagree. I believe what I believe, and I'm strong in my convictions. I know who I am as a human being. I know who I am as a person. I know where I have faltered, and I know where I have succeeded. And if I'm too much, just tune out. But don't tell me what the fuck to do, or what the fuck to think, or how the fuck to convey those thoughts and feelings. All right. On that note, on to football. Lots of fucking football content. So, this I thought was a great meme. It says, let's talk about that for a second. I'm not inclined to translate for you people. But I also understand that not everybody who watches this is going to know Spanish. So, or Portuguese. But I'm also like, I don't want to spoon feed anybody anything. But you can take this at face value, and it's somebody that was in a wheelchair, or actually multiple people that were in wheelchairs who are now standing up to see Messi play, because Messi creates miracles. I really love this picture of Mbappe and Courtois. I think that's Courtois. I could be wrong. Anyways, I think it's beautiful. I think it's two bros who love each other. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but there's a rumor that Mbappe is dating a trans woman, which, if he is, fucking great. That's all you, bro. But if he is, just and I don't think he's discredited or anything of the sort, fucking great. That's awesome, right? Like, can we get to that place? Can we get to that place where nobody gives a fuck? And it's not like ooh, look at what he's doing. If one of the greatest footballers on the planet is dating a trans woman, trans man, another man, who gives a fuck? Anybody, like whoever they want to be with. But anyways, this picture really, it moved me. It touched me. Like, I hope we knocked them out of the fucking tournament. Don't get me wrong. But this was really sweet. And the way that, again, I'm going to say Courtois, but I could be wrong, just looks at Mbappe makes me happy. And it's just beautiful. I talked about this a couple days ago. Just Luis Suarez leaving the tournament. It's his last tournament ever. He's unlikely to play another World Cup or even probably another Copa America. So to see him walk out like this was really heartbreaking. And I hope that he can hold his head up high, because he's done a lot of great things for his country and for the sport, and he's just amazing. Roy Keane came out and said, I've never seen so much, and I'm paraphrasing because I only see the quote in Spanish, but I'm paraphrasing here. I've never seen so much dancing. I think it's really disrespectful to the opponent. And, you know, quite frankly, Roy Keane can go fuck himself. And he can go eat all the dicks. And who the fuck is he to tell anyone, much less the people on the pitch, how the fuck they can celebrate a goal? Just because it's not how he would do it. It goes back to this whole... Right? This is the problem. The fucking boomers do it. They tell people how to live their lives. The fucking wokeists do it. They tell people how to live their lives. It's two sides of the same fucking coin. Just let people do whatever the fuck they want, as long as it's not hurting anyone. Right? And like legitimately hurting, like causing harm. Just let people be happy. Let people do whatever the fuck they want. Like, let people fucking dance when they score a goal. And if you don't like it, turn the fucking TV off. It's not that fucking hard. Tune out. This is what I said about Dave Chappelle. Just tune out. Turn it off. Go away. You do not need to participate. I really love this little clip, because it was just so cute, because that's how I feel about football.
Futebol fantástico.
Futebol é fantástico. That's 100% true. This kind of blew me away here. I agreed with Alexi Lalas once before during this tournament, and I couldn't believe that I did. And it happened again. He just said something about this Roy Keane situation. And I agreed wholeheartedly with Alexi Lalas, and I am blown away by that, because I think he's just a fucking giant idiot when it comes to football, which is crazy because he was on the men's national team, but that goes to show you how the U.S. men's national team is, or just football culture in the U.S. period. But anyways, if this big goofy asshole can get it right, maybe Roy Keane has a little bit of hope left for him.
If you are somebody out there, okay, that frowns and is grouchy and grumpy about soccer players dancing after they have scored a goal, or about Brazilian soccer players dancing after they score a goal, out of some misguided concept of what sportsmanship is at a World Cup, then I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for the life that you live that has no joy, that has no love, that has no passion.
You know, football is a funny thing, and it's a lot like life. I think maybe that's why I love it so much, is because it is life. It is just like life. And sometimes we catch a lucky break, and sometimes we make really bad mistakes. And in this case, both of those things happen. So check this out.
This the bizarre reason Australia qualified for the knockout stages. In the 70th minute of the final Group D game between Australia and Denmark, the score was 1-0 Australia. If Denmark could score 2 goals in the final 20 minutes, they would go through instead of the Socceroos. So Denmark made a double substitution, bringing on forwards Andreas Cornelius and Robert Skov. The substitutions made an impact, but not in the way Denmark intended. As Skov ran onto the pitch, he was carrying a note with key tactical information on it, which he handed to captain Christian Eriksen. Eriksen dropped the note once he read it, and along came quick-thinking Mitchell Duke, who picked up the note, ran over to the sideline and gave it to the Australia coaching staff. Seconds later, they made a substitution, bringing on centre-back Bailey Wright and switching to a 5-4-1, which helped them hang on to the win.
Another thing I really am loving about, and I'm going to miss this a lot, is Mexicans fucking with people in full like Middle Eastern garb, and just fucking with them because they look like Qataris. And it was so much fun when the Mexican team was still in the tournament because people were posting these types of things. But here's this one.
Que no se puede. Allá está el fondo, allá está el fondo. Allá, allá al fondo. Déjalo.
A little respite from football. You'll see in the channel if you choose to follow and subscribe, comment, like, all of those things. Hit the notification bell. Don't forget to do that. You'll see that I will do a cooking vlog. You'll see that I'll do traveling stuff. I'll cook on the show or on the channel. Anyways, any number of food travel related activities. All of it can be directly attributed to Tony Bourdain. He is a huge influence and inspiration, and one of the most interesting people that I have encountered on television. And I know that a lot of people are fans of them. This is nothing like revolutionary that I'm saying, but Tony was a huge influence and is a huge influence. And, you know, there are people in life who you never meet but feel like they are deeply connected to you. There are people who you know, who maybe you don't get to see very often or connect with as much as you'd like, but there's this incredible, indescribable bond. Tony was one of those people, you know. I never met him, and I wish I had. I've gotten the privilege of meeting a lot of incredible people. And I think Tony would have been right at the top of that list. And even though I never got to meet him, I feel like I did know him. And I don't mean that just in like a transcendent or like a transient kind of way. I mean that like in a very significant way. His death was very painful. It was like I lost a friend. And I follow this account, Friends of Tony Bourdain, or Friends of Anthony Bourdain, and it's really moving to see these clips, and it's really encouraging, and it's also really sad.
I want to reward myself.
Yeah.
You know, I put down a nice score, sold a book, you know,
Yeah.
have some extra money. I want to do something that's all about me that I don't want to share. A high-end sushi bar or yakitori joint in Japan is as good as it gets. For me, it's really the next. It's as close to dropping acid as it gets. It is a bizarre and sensual wonderland. I love all of the things that the very things that make Japanese pornography so disturbing makes their food really great.
If any of you ever feel like you need help, please seek help. If you need to reach out to somebody, please reach out to somebody. Tonight I was talking to one of those people who I don't see very often, but just have this undeniable connection with, about an old friend of ours, about a brother of ours who chose to take his own life. And man, he was in that room tonight. He filled that room today with his love and his light and his music and his energy. And I miss you all the time. Every day I miss you. So please, if you aren't feeling like your full self, if you're feeling like you can't keep going, any one of the people that you love, that love you, want to hear from you, and they want to be there for you. Please reach out. You're not alone. You're really not. I love you, Mitz. I love you, and I miss you. And I know you're not far away, but you would have been so proud of Trey tonight. He's doing so good. He's making a difference, you know. He's living the mission. And you came up, you know. We talked about you. And neither of us could keep it together. I talked about my little brother, and he talked about his big brother. And you're so important to so many of us. You mean so much to so many of us. And I just hope you feel it. I hope you feel it. I hope you know it. I love you so much. The boys love you so much too. You're on my home screen. A picture we took in Belgium. And it makes me smile so much every time I see it. You know, waffles will never taste the same. Thanks for taking care of us. I love you. Okay. You know, I started this for the boys, right? And like I said in the first video, these memorial videos I've had to make in the past, I wanted them to have my voice, have my thoughts, have some part of me that they could take with them. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to fucking die for another 40, 50 years. Like, I'm not trying to go anywhere, but I didn't want them to not have me around. That's very selfish of me. That's kind of very fucking egotistical, narcissistic of me, but fuck it. And very, very Leo of me, which is a good segue into this next thing. So I'm in this very like kind of limbo-y part. No longer limbo. I thought it was going to be limbo because I thought, oh, they'll see this shit when they're older. Now that I know that they're seeing this shit now, I can't be too inappropriate or dark because I don't want to traumatize the boys. But this shit cracked me up because this is 100% me. There's so much shit I wish I could share, but I don't because I might ruffle some feathers, then some shit's not worth ruffling feathers over. We'll get back to football in a second, but I want to share this because I thought it was so brave and 100% what I would have done and 100% what I would hope my kids do if they found themselves in this situation. What you're seeing is the recipients of the Congressional Gold Medal refusing to shake hands with the Republican leadership because they're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. And I'm so proud of these families because they lived their values and their morals, and they saw through the bullshit and the pomp and circumstance and the rank of these public servants. They forget they're public servants. So kudos to those families, and I'm so sorry for your losses and your sacrifices. But I was very moved by your gestures of strong character and indomitable will. So kudos. Back to football. Lots of football content. And I want to talk about number 2 for Morocco. I'm going to butcher this name, but I believe it is. I thought I lost it for a second. I believe his name is Ashraf Hakimi. I'm probably very off on that, but anyways, mom was cleaning houses in Madrid. Dad was a street vendor in Madrid. He was born in Madrid, chose to play for Morocco because that's mom's country, and he knocked Spain out of the World Cup. The Spanish wanted him to play for their national team, but he chose to play for mom's national team, which I think is beautiful. And he knocked Spain out of the World Cup, and then he ran over to the sidelines to greet mom and get a big kiss from mom. And I think that's just absolutely beautiful. And here's his final kick and the little waddle. And then he got ambushed by the team. Just overcome with joy. And then he went over to the sidelines to kiss his mama. I think this is just absolutely beautiful. Here's this quote from him back in 2018. It says, "My mother cleaned houses and my father was a street vendor. We come from a modest family that struggled to earn a living. Today, I fight every day for them. They sacrificed themselves for me. They deprived my brothers of many things for me to succeed." So it's just beautiful to see him do it for his mom, for his country, and to not have forgotten where he came from. And look at this crowd reaction of the Moroccan fans just absolutely losing their shit because they get to go further in the cup than they've ever gone before. And I love football because that feeling of something going right is so powerful, and it's such an analog for life, right? When things are going good in life, you enjoy those victories. Of course, football's a ruthless, relentless, hateful bitch. So when things don't go your way, it also hurts like a motherfucker. But it's so nice to see these folks just absolutely living every moment, every emotion of their team going through. Tears. I just keep watching this clip over and over again. I want to talk about what the Brazilians players said about these criticisms of them dancing. I'll pause it here for you so you can see it if you want to read it. But I think it's great that they're standing up for themselves, that they're not backing down, that they're not apologizing for being who they are, for enjoying their accomplishments and their hard-earned victories. And basically, fuck you, Roy Keane, is what they're saying. And we're going to get to today's happenings. A lot of cool shit happened today. Before that, though, just one last note on Morocco, which I think is an interesting stat for Portugal, who they have to face next. Morocco have conceded just one goal through 4 World Cup matches. So 1 goal in 4 matches. They drew with Croatia and beat Belgium and Spain. I think the game plan for the Portugal game is going to be to just park. Jose Mourinho said this about his Inter Milan team that beat the most beautiful Barcelona team that ever existed in the Champions League final. He said, we didn't park the bus in front of the net. We parked the fucking jet in front of the net. So expect that from Morocco. They are going to park that fucking jet. And as soon as the Portugal game was over, I knew exactly what the game plan for Morocco has to be, which is to pry that fucking defense apart. They have to tear the defense apart if they expect to get anywhere, because Morocco are going to be disciplined. They're not going to let anything through. They're going to shut that shit down. It's going to be probably a really painful, boring game to watch. But if Portugal can break through with 2 early goals, I think it's theirs to lose. Portugal should win. They are the better team. But Morocco is going to make them fucking earn it. So I thought that was just a really interesting statistic. I lied. There's one more thing for Morocco. And this is a little clip of Barcelona. The streets of Barcelona set ablaze with Moroccan fans celebrating the victory of the Morocco national team. I thought it was really appropriate that it was in Barcelona because, as we all know, the Catalans don't necessarily care for the Spanish unless they're winning a World Cup. The whole country united when Spain won the World Cup. That day, Catalans were very much Spanish. So football unites as much as football hurts. So, okay. That was today in the Morocco game. And now let's talk about the Portugal game, which is where all of my emotional attention was. First of all, this goal by 39-year-old Pepe. 39 and like 300 and something days. Like, the man is at 40's doorstep. And he is a fucking beast. He has been a beast for fucking 20-something years. He's fucking rock solid. And I was so happy that he scored in this game, because he's just fucking a machine. And I was really happy for him. The big news of the day, of course, is that Cristiano Ronaldo was not starting. He was a bench warmer. And good. That's exactly what he needed to have happened. He was very pouty about it, of course, because his ego couldn't possibly comprehend that the team doesn't fucking need him. That's the truth of the matter. I said it during the first game, I believe, when they pulled him out and then the team scored, and it was a beautiful team effort. The team itself is so competitive and competent and young and hungry. He's a liability at this point to the team, to the game. He's not an asset the way he thinks he is. Certainly, definitely not. He's a liability. He is selfish. He doesn't have pace. At least not the pace that he used to have, and definitely not the pace that a lot of defenders have now on him. So, yeah, hey, you know what? I'm a big fat guy talking about Cristiano Ronaldo's athletic decline, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's fucking true. He's not the same footballer that he was even 4 years ago. So, I thought this was also a message from Fernando Santos to say, hey, sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. Because after the last game, when he was substituted out, he was pouty and he made a big deal about it to the press. And the technical director had to come out and defend his own tactics. And so what did he do this time? He started the game without him. I think it was to send a message that, first of all, we don't really fucking need you. It was a huge risk, don't get me wrong. Like, it could have really gone sideways for him. But it didn't. They won 6-1 without a single goal from Ronaldo, with only 20 minutes of contribution from him on the pitch. They didn't need him. They don't need him. In fact, they won the Euro without him. Lest we forget, he was injured in the final, and the team won the game without him. So, I think this was the way of the coach to send a message. And that message was, sit down and shut the fuck up. Let us do what we do. Let us get you to the promised land. And then you can fuck right off. Of course, that doesn't keep away the fact that the press is obsessed with this man. And a gaggle of World Cup photographers is called the cuck. They know he's a piece of shit. They know the things he's allegedly done, that he's self-admitted to his own attorneys on record in a deposition. And it doesn't matter. Like, there's no consequences for this, for his behavior. So, you know what? I think the universe will have to sort him out. But in the meantime, the international press can't get enough of him. Thankfully, this young man did everything he needed to do today. He's 21 years old, and he scored a hat trick in his first World Cup game, substituting Ronaldo. You couldn't have written this shit any better. A blow to the ego. What a blow to the ego. I was just, Schadenfreude was very much flowing through me today. And of course, I was so happy for the team. We won 6-1. Fucking amazing. Wonderful. I loved it. So happy. And let's fucking go. Let's keep this shit going. Who's next? Who's next? We're going to get to that in a second. Here it is. This was my bracket for the round of 16. I had Japan I had the US beating the Netherlands, which was wrong. And I had Senegal upsetting the English, which was also wrong. Those were two upsets that I was hoping for. It didn't happen. I was also hoping Japan would beat Croatia, and I think that was a very winnable game. In open play, the Japanese were a lot better than the Croatians. They were the better team on the day, but they just couldn't convert those penalties, man. So it was sad to see them go, but you know, they couldn't get it in the back of the net. So it is what it is. And the one thing that I didn't think would be an upset, I thought Spain would beat Morocco to go through, but they couldn't do it either. So the rest of my bracket was okay. but that's a pretty shitty batting average. I was fucking wrong 50% of the games. So, but thankfully I knew that it was going to age poorly. So there's that. Ironically enough, or funny enough, the 4 teams that I think are going to get knocked out next are the 4 teams that are unbeaten. So, France, Argentina, of course, lost to the Saudis. France lost in the group stages in their 3rd game. So did Portugal, and so did Brazil. And those are the 4 teams that I expect to go on to the semis. So we'll see if these unbeaten teams can keep their streak alive, but I don't think they will. I don't think it's in the cards anymore. And then I thought it was funny. This was very amusing to me. So Portugal wins 6-1 with a hat trick from the replacement winner. And the team shows absolute dominance, that they do not need this piece of shit. And now I appreciate and I respect a partner standing up for her man. Don't get me wrong. I do respect that. But these people absolutely deserve each other. Their delusion and their inability to see the world outside of themselves would be surprising, or would be disappointing if it was surprising. But it is neither one of those things. It's neither disappointing because it's expected. It says, "Congratulations, Portugal." While the 11 players were singing the national anthem, all of the eyes were on you. What a shame that we weren't able to enjoy the best player on the planet, which he's not, by the way, during the 90 minutes. The fans haven't stopped demanding you or chanting your name, which is true, because the fans are fucking dumb. I hope that God and your dear friend Fernando go hand in hand and they make us vibrate one more night. I don't know what the fuck that last sentence means. She's just so fucking clueless. And these people deserve each other. And I hope they just both fuck right off and we never have to hear from them again. This was from an ESPN commentator when asked if Portugal were better without Ronaldo. And I completely 100% agree with that assessment. They were in every way better. They were loose, they were flowing, they were not selfish, they were not bullied, intimidated by one player that needs to have all of the passes. They were a team, they were cohesive, and I hope that this gives the technical director more incentive to pull him out sooner and take more risks. So one last thing, Trump called for the termination of the Constitution, or the articles that keep him from running again. So much for draining the swamp, right? And I'll leave you guys on this note, because this is how I feel about this whole endeavor. I'm very much at the "this is impossible" stage right now. And somehow simultaneously at "I totally got this." But I know that I can't believe I thought I knew what I was doing is right around the corner. So anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate your patronage, your time, your attention. These things keep getting longer, so I probably am enjoying them. It's also football season. And, hopefully there will be something that will keep me engaged after the World Cup is over. Probably politics, probably the economy, probably music. There's always something. I'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks.